Thanks for joining us for another edition of Weekend Winners, special edition because it's the Summer Carnival edition over the next 3 weeks. Here at Albion Park, we've got some great racing coming through. It starts this weekend with the running of the Be Good Johnny Sprint, the Members Cup, and the first round of heats of the Darryl Alexander Memorial Trotting Championship Series. This is a Group 1 feature for the Trotters. Heats this weekend, and of course next weekend, the big final coming up in 2 weeks' time. Joining us now from Racing Queensland is form analyst Darren Clayton. And Darren, looking at these big fields tomorrow night, it's going to be a really good night of racing.
It certainly is, Chris, and really looking forward to what we've got ahead. The Be Good Johnny Sprint, absolute cracker, and the DJA always throws up a great contest over those 2 weeks.
Looking at the barrier draw with the Be Good Johnny Sprint, they're going to be running some time.
They certainly are. We've spoken in previous weeks about a possible track record. That is a real possibility with how the speed lines up on this front line.
Okay, well, 11 races coming through from Albion Park this weekend. The first of our features that we are going to focus on is the Aqua Constructions Be Good Johnny Sprint. It's a Group 3 feature of $30,000. Darren, it looks a tough race on paper, loaded with speed. How did you map this race and who are you tipping for the victory?
Yeah, well, I've mapped it with Matt Gregor to lead. I think he finally comes up with a gate to take advantage of. We know he's a speedster out of the machine. I don't think he wants to hand up over the short course. That sets it up for where they position outside of him. I thought Glenferrie Hood probably gets to the breeze, and you wouldn't foresee him handing that position up either. That leaves Sam's the master and always in command, facing a mighty task from where they're drawn. So with McGregor, I have put him on top, not with a great deal of confidence at the price.
Okay. He is listed as the favourite as we speak, Matt Gregor. So are you tipping him, but you don't want to be backing him? Is that what you're saying?
That's where I think it comes down to. He leads, he gets the run. I'm tipping him, but like I said, value probably not there. For value-wise, I think Dream to Share, if he can hold the back of McGregor, I think he shapes as a real place value hope, and I think that's where I would be sooner putting my punting dollar.
Okay, so your numbers are 1, 8, 9 and 10. My numbers are 1, 2, 9 and 8. So they're quite similar there. We're both coming up with Matt Gregor, and I tend to agree with Darren. I don't think there's a great deal of value there at the current price, but he is the horse to beat because he's got the right draw. We focus now on the Albion Park Harness Racing Club Members Cup, and this race is going to be dominated by one stable, the leading stable of Grant Dixon. Darren, you've got a number of runners, including the two, clear favourites. Governor Jujon, who's first up, and Virgil, who comes across from New Zealand, boasting really strong credentials. How did you assess this race?
Yeah, well, it's going to play out with Virgil. I thought he probably gets to the lead, and Governor Jujon first up this season. He had a great 2-year-old season. I'm a big fan of this horse. I really liked what he did as a 2-year-old. I think if Virgil goes to the front, Governor Jujon in behind, I really like the way he should be able to get to the line. His trials have been really sharp. I'm really impressed with the way he's ready to kick off his campaign.
All right, so you're tipping Governor Jujon first up?
Yeah, I think he gets the job done from there. Of course, it's always tough to line up New Zealand form when they first come to Australia. I think we can take a lead with Grant Dixon taking the drive on Governor Jujon.
Yeah, I think that's a significant point that Darren points out. With Grant Dixon opting for Governor Jujon, he's only been beaten the once. That was his most recent start in a Group 1 feature, and he ran into the very exciting, expensive Ego. So he's my selection as well. I'm tipping Governor Jujon, like Darren, 2 Virgil. Looks a race in 2. If you're playing the exotics, Darren's put in 9. That's how we roll, and 3 Arc Me. My numbers are 1, 2, 8 and 9. If St Kilda Beach gets the run, she is listed as the emergency. She can certainly feature as well. 1, 2, 8, 9, 1, 2, 9, 3 from Darren for the Members Cup. Let's focus on the Darryl Alexander Memorial Trotting Championship Series. We've got 3 heats taking place on the weekend, and they're fascinating heats, there's no doubt about it. Looking at the history books, the Southerners, the Sydney Siders, have got a strong record, and they're going to play a strong hand to here in this opening heat. Princess Kenny, how did you see this race?
Well, she's got great manners, and we can see her likely getting straight to the front. From there, she'll be tough to run down. I've got a little bit of a concern just about her seasoning. Only a 4-year-old mare coming up against some seasoned campaigners here, and that's why I'm leaning into Empire Bay. Despite his 30 metres, I think he's the class runner. He showed last week he's ready to roll. He's back from a break, and for me, I think he can just speed. Prove a little bit too strong.
Okay, so Darren coming up with Empire Bay. On with Princess Kenny. She's building up a very impressive CV. She's shooting for 5 in a row. And when you look at those winning margins over a past 4, they seem like they're getting bigger and bigger. So they're obviously deliberately setting her for this series, and I think she can kick off with a victory here at Albion Park on the weekend. 2 on top for me, Princess Kenny to beat 11 Empire Bay, 7 Any Old Way, and 4 Lavros, Texas. Wouldn't be shocked to see him fire first up for the new stable. Darren, your numbers there in race 7?
So I'm going 11 Empire Bay over 2 Princess Kenny, 7 Any Old Way, and throwing in number 10 Northern Muscle. He'll be first up. Big ask for this series from 20 metres, but he's a great campaigner for Dennis Smith.
Okay, well that takes us across to race number 8. This is heat number 2 for the Trotters, and this is a tough one to assess because we've got a few newcomers lining up here, 2 former Kiwis, and they've both come up with good draws, talking about 1, Is Something Burning, and 2, Wee Man Trouble. This is not an easy race to assess, Darren. How did you see it?
No, it's not, and I've tended to keep away from the 1 and the 2. Just out of my numbers, I'm just leaning into the tried and true form that we have seen here at Albion Park. No horse going better at the moment than G Up Netty. Maybe a little bit of a concern about the 2600 trip, but I think from where he positions in the run, might need to do a little bit of work, but he's in form and firing. Can never discount Our Over and Over. Such a wonderful record here at Albion Park. He will be thereabouts once again, and definitely those 2 new Kiwis that we see are going to be thereabouts. They'll be in the firing line from their good gates.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go in with the Kiwis first up. I think they can both race really well here. I've got a distance risk against G Up Netty. All of his good recent form is at the 2138 metres, and Our Over and Over's got that big handicap. So I'm looking at these Kiwis first up, and when you look at their form lines, they read very impressively. They've been racing some good trotters in New Zealand, the likes of Sunday Sun, Robbie Royale, Majestic Man, the list goes on. I'm going with Wee Man Trouble because he's coming into this race with 2 recent trials where Is Something Burning hasn't been produced. So just with that little bit of a fitness factor, I'm with Wee Man Trouble to beat 1 Is Something Burning, 9 G Up Netty, and 11 Our Over and Over. 2, 1, 9, 11. Darren, your numbers for race 8?
Yeah, so with 9 G Up Netty, over 11 Our Over and Over. 2 Wee Man Trouble. One of those trials here at Albion Park was a really sharp trial. Never asked for anything, went home untested. And number 4, I'm the Commando. Big risk from the tapes, but if he steps, he can certainly give cheek out in front.
Okay. Third and final heat is race number 10 this weekend at Albion Park, and it doesn't get any easier. Several of these are hard to line up. So again, I'll pass it over to you. How did you break down this third and final heat?
Yeah, well, it's, I guess, mid-race tactics in this heat probably more so are going to play a part in the finish than the other 2, I thought. Clover Mac has been going pretty well for the Jack Butler stable. If he gets around and gets to the breeze, he might nearly be able to cause a little bit of a boil over. Has had a few problems along the way, but where they sort of, like I say, where they position in the run in this heat is all important. And for that reason, this is probably the most open of the 3 heats, and really looking forward to this contest.
Okay. Yeah, I tend to agree. It looks open this way. So which way are you going as far as your selections are concerned?
Yeah, well, I thought, Quietly Spoken, a mare that does hold a track record here at Albion Park, she can get the right type of trip and has a good closing sprint when safe for 1 run. So if she gets there, she's certainly going to be in it. Miracle Rising, he's got good form over the longer trip, only narrowly beaten in the Trotters Marathon here back in winter, so he'll be thereabouts. And number 7, Majestic Simon, bit of a step up in class for him, but another risk from the tapes. If he gets it right, he can certainly fire here.
Okay, so 8, 10, 9, 7 for Darren there in that third and final lead. I'm with one of the newcomers here, 2 Rain On Me. First up to Grand Dixon, Paul Diver takes the drive. Trialled recently, and I say recently, probably about 3.5 weeks ago at Redcliffe. Looked really good winning that trial. Yet to be proven at this distance, but it comes up from Sydney boasting some fairly strong form lines. So I'm going to take the punt with it first up, 2 Rain On Me. I'm marking the danger as number 7, Majestic Simon. He's returned in super form. He looks bigger, he looks stronger. So this is a step up, but he can make that reach again here in Majestic Simon. 9 Clover Mac and 8 Quietly Spoken, also with good chances. 2, 7, 9, 8. Repeating Darren going 8, 10, 9 and 7. Okay, let's find out what some of these drivers think about their chances coming up this weekend. We're able to catch up with Paul Divert, Adam Richardson and also Nathan Dawson. Nathan Dawson joins us now, and we're going to talk about a couple of his drives on Saturday night. We'll start in race 3. We'll start with Random Task. Nathan, not a kind draw, but he's going really well.
Yeah, that's right. He's probably in his best form he's been for quite a while. The draw's not the best to us, but hopefully we can make the most of it.
Last start, very brave running that placing.
Yeah, that's right. He went well last start. He had to do it tough, and his door was there in the finish, so a bit of luck on our side. We should be in the finish as well.
Do you push forward from the draw?
I think so. I think he's more of a strong horse and he is fast, so that's probably our tactics.
Okay, let's talk about Always in Command. This guy is absolutely roaring through his grades, but this is his baptism of fire on the weekend. He tackles the Be Good Johnny sprint. Looking at it on paper, again, the draw's not kind.
Yeah, that's right. It's not the best draw for us, but you can't knock his form going into this race. Any luck on our side, and I'm sure he'll be there in the finish.
How does this race play out at the start with all that speed on your inside?
Yeah, I'm hoping we could press forward, hopefully slide in behind and find a gap somewhere. I don't think pressing any harder forwards any better for us because there'll be quite a bit of speed in it and we're just gassing ourselves.
Looks like you guys are going to be flying early here.
Yeah, that's right. I reckon in this race, track record might be in a bit of trouble.
He did it the tough way last Saturday night, so he's capable of doing work, but this is his first time against the big boys and it's a tricky draw, so this is a really big test.
Yeah, that's right. It's the biggest test to date. He stands up to this. Obviously, he's going to have a very bright future.
Okay, race 7, Any Old Way, in one of the heats of the Darryl Alexander Memorial. He's first up in 12 months, but his recent trial, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, his trial was good last Tuesday, so anything he does Saturday night, he'll be better for next week.
First up, just on 12 months, 2,600 metres first up. So he's going to need to be at his best, but judging by that trial, he's not too far away.
Yeah, that's right. We gave him a bit to do in his trial the other day, and everything we asked he did, so we can't ask for anything more going into the race.
There's a couple of handy trotters here, so it's going to be a competitive race, and as we know with trotters, stand starts, a lot can happen.
Yeah, that's right. You need your manners all the time, so hopefully we have our best foot forward.
All right, what's the pick of your drives at this early stage?
Probably Always in Command, even though it's a tough field. He's a nice horse. They always usually make their own luck.
All right, appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Adam Richardson is about to join us. A couple of key runners on Saturday night. Adam, we start with Just Steal It. She goes around in race 2. Importantly, she lands an inside draw and she's been crying out for a draw, so confidence levels will be high.
Yeah, Chris, this is the best draw she's had for a while this time in. Her run last week was really good, sitting in the death over the 21. I think with the one we can make an advantage of it and hopefully go all the way.
Well, she is a mare with good gate speed, comes back to the mile, but as you outlined, the run last time out in super fast time over the long trip, very meritorious.
Yeah, very, very. And she's come through that run really well, so, hopefully, like I say, with the one we can just go all the way.
And just looking back at her record overall, the bulk of her victories, when she's been in front, she's very hard to run down.
Yeah, she is. She is very hard.
All right, well, she looks a terrific chance there. Just Deal It. Let's have a look now at Smooth Showgirl in the feature, the Be Good Johnny sprint. On paper, it's a horror draw, but she's back to her best, and the run last week was really good in a quick last quarter.
Yeah, it was. Last week was super. She's back to her best. Her four runs back this time in has been really good. Not the best draw, but, speed up front, she'll be right in it.
Well, just looking at that speed off the front row, if they go 100 miles an hour, and there's a possibility that could unfold, it gives her some sort of chance to run on.
Oh, for sure. She's got a brilliant turn of foot. And, if they really do go hard and she gets a nice track into it, she'll be right in the finish.
Do you expect a really quick first quarter in this race?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so she's not hopeless. So if you're looking for a bolter, she's worth a few bob each way.
Yeah, for sure.
Northern Muscle, a key runner. He's first up. He goes around in the DJ Alexander Memorial. He's off a handicap. He hasn't raced for a number of weeks, but looking back at his trial, he looked pretty sharp.
Yeah, I didn't drive him in his trial. Dennis drove him, said he was very happy with the way he went. And, he does go better fresh, so hopefully we step away clean and get up there pretty quick and we're in with the shot.
Well, you've got a good record with this guy as well. You seem to click, Utah. I don't know what it is, but there's a good rapport going on.
Yeah, no, he's a lovely horse to drive and he's just got gears, I think.
Okay, 2,600 metres first up. Is that a little bit of a concern?
I don't think so. Dennis does a really good job with him and I think you'll have him pretty spot on.
Okay, 3 good drives there. What's the pick of them? Just Deal It?
I'd say Just Deal It, but like you say, for a roughie, Smooth Showgirl if they go hard early.
All right, appreciate the time.
No worries, thanks, Chris.
Paul Dybert joins us, and I want to ask about a number of runners on Saturday night. We'll start with the first, Clary. This is a race that looks open, and he's got as good a chance as any.
Yeah, he's been racing well of late. Steve sent him down to Sydney and he's come back and he's been a bit big the last few runs, so he's had a few runs, so he should be tighter and a bit fitter and should be able to run the gate a bit better. So, yeah, I'll be looking to press forward on tipping and get a forward position.
All right, there looks to be a little bit of speed to your inside. Spike Bromack, the stablemate. See you in Nashville as well, but obviously go forward is the plan.
Yeah, it's a mile and I reckon I'll be going forward. I'll have to see the trainer, but I'm pretty sure I've got the speed to have a go.
All right, let's skip over to one of the heats of the trotting series, Southern Alps in race 8, number 10. You've got a great rapport with this trotter. He's got a handicap to contend with, but is this the type of race that he should prove competitive in?
It's going to be a good series. I'm pretty sure he'll be up to it. He's had a few pretty not so good runs of late, but he's been handicapped and it's made it a bit hard for him. So he's back at Albion Park off 20, I think. So he's a bit closer. It's over the 2600. So no, I think all going to plan. He's worked real well. So he'll run a cheeky race.
All right. Is it all about confidence with him?
Yeah, he's always been confident. So I haven't had any trouble with him stepping and that. But it's just been in the runs. He just hasn't seemed to be firing as well. But he should bounce back.
Okay. In race 9, this is the Members' Cup. Seahawk is your drive. You're up against your stablemates, basically, because they're going to dominate betting in Governor Jujon and Virgil. But Seahawk, recent winner, going well, but he just needs that little bit of luck.
Yes, he's going very well of late, but it's a big step up in grade for him compared to what he's been racing against. Drawn 4. I don't know where I'm going to get to with the main 2 key horses are 1 and 2. So, yeah, I'll just have to look for a bit of luck, and if I get it, I'll be running top 5.
Okay. I've got to ask about the other 2, though, Governor Jujon, Virgil. Governor Jujon, he's had 2 trials. The most recent, you sat behind him. He looked sharp that day. And Virgil, first up from New Zealand, what can we expect?
I don't know what we'll expect. I don't know what Grant will be thinking at the start. Governor Jujon come out pretty well under wraps, drawn 1 in the trial, and he could lead. I don't know whether Virgil's good enough to do whatever he's up to, but I do know they've got a bit of opinion of Virgil, so I think the fitness might be better on Governor, but we'll see if class prevails with Virgil.
Okay, we'll watch with interest. Clary, is that the one that you're sort of leaning to at this early stage for Saturday night?
No, I've got another trotter. I forget her name, but she's drawn 2 in Skyline's race, and she trialled real well at Redcliffe 3 weeks ago, and no, I'm looking forward to driving her.
Okay, is that Rain on Me?
Rain on Me, that's the one.
All right, well, we'll watch her. Appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside.
Thank you.
It's the business time now. We need to find a winner or 2 for this Saturday night at Albion Park. And Darren, I'm going to throw it straight over to you. What is your best bet this weekend?
I thought race 5, number 1, Sabrage. Liked the way he won last week. He's undefeated in 2 starts here in Queensland. Might have to hustle a little bit early to hold the pegs, but from there I can't see too much pressure for him in front, and I thought he can go all the way. 5-1 Sabrage.
Yeah, well, I like one that I think can lead all the way as well. I'm coming up with race 2, number 1, Just Deal It. She's been crying out for a barrier draw. Her effort last time out was very, very good. Adam Richardson gave us a good push there, so I'm keen on her chances. Race 2, number 1. What about a quaddie for the weekend?
Yeah, so races 2 to 5 for the quaddie. First leg 1, 9, 10. Second leg 1, 3, 8 and 9. Third leg 8 and 9. Bringing it home 1 out with number 1 Sabrage, my best bet.
Okay, I'm going one out in the opening leg, Just Deal It. In the second leg, 1, 6, 8, 9 and 10. 9 only in that third leg, and I'll bring it home with numbers 1 and 9. $10 for 100%. Darren going for $24 for 100% of the dividend. What about this first race? There's always a good first 4 jackpot on the opening race. It looks hard and it looks open.
It certainly does, and again, map play is really going to be to the fore in this race. My numbers for that first 4, 1, 4 and 6, from 1, 4, 6 and 8, from 1, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, from 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. $60 will give you 35% of what will be a big jackpot.
Yeah, I'm going sort of similar there with my numbers. So $60 for 10% of the dividend. It's a tough race as far as I'm concerned, that opening race tomorrow night. But it should be a very competitive night of racing on the opening night of the Summer Carnival for 2019. Darren, appreciate your time today. Look forward to catching up in a few weeks' time, but it should be a great Summer Carnival.
It certainly will, Chris. The next 3 weeks or 3 Saturday nights are really going to be some great racing, and looking forward to what's in store.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are betting this weekend, please do so responsibly.